Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Sustainability Advisory Committee on whatever today is, the 11th of June. We are called to order, and this time we'll hit the wood part instead of this thing. I guess, let's see, call to order. Welcome, everybody. For anybody watching at home or watching this later, this is our bi-monthly Sustainability Advisory Committee meeting, and all of the attachments are on the town website. One of our first orders will be to approve last meeting's minutes. So if anybody has any questions or challenges or things they want to bring up from the last meeting minutes, last minutes. And if there's nothing, I would absolutely entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll move to approve.
Can I get a second?
I second.
All in favor of approving? Oh, Kristen, you're about to. I feel like you're.
I was just. Did Jackie say she'd take minutes from the video, or let's just in case I'll log? Okay.
Oh,
so
thank you very much. Hey, thanks for thinking of that.
So Nina motioned,
Yes.
and Jenna, did you second? Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Great. So then, can I get all in favor of approving last meeting's minutes? Say aye.
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 Aye. Minutes are approved from the April 30th meeting. If we took that out of order, we'll take some public comments, but there is no public present. Do we have any correspondence from anybody that?
The only correspondence that I received was related to, so a woman, Meredith Steele, reached out with interest in potentially serving on the committee. And did she was
We met her at
contact at Alewife.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't. You did.
I did, yeah. She was very enthusiastic, so hopefully we'll hear back.
Yes. Yeah. And I think and then Lisa Dolph also reached out quite a bit ago.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So I reached out to both of them recently to just kind of encourage any participation. I think at one point, for Lisa anyway, there was still discussion of the merger of the two committees.
Right.
And I forgot to follow up after that, so, anyway.
She's on my dog walk group. I'll poke my nose in
Oh,
next time.
there you go.
All right, well, if no further public comment, we can go to the approval of minutes. We can move on to a really wonderful topic. Bullet number 4 was our ongoing solid waste discussion and solid waste subcommittee this past week. Or was it earlier this week? I think it was last week.
Last week.
Wow, this time's flying. Last week we had a meeting with the team from DPW and did a little bit of learning on what's currently going on and the renewal time for the current solid waste contract with our current supplier, Waste Management. And we left with some just current knowledge of what's going on, a little bit of knowledge of what's happening in the communities around us, who they're using, how they go about managing their waste, and it's surprisingly varied. I think one of the things I came away with was to learn that, like Lee and Rye, for example, manage their stuff themselves, or you have to bring your stuff to the
transfer station.
To a transfer station yourself. I think was it Northampton or somebody had
Northampton does it themselves.
They pick up their own. But there were some encouraging things, especially when you look at cost versus the service provided and knowing where your stuff's going. There's a lot of opportunity out there. One of the things that we also discussed was the relatively small field of potential suitors for bids. So there's some work to be done with the subcommittee on that. I think Chetna has already started to surface a couple of interesting ideas. To put it in context, I think I left that notebook at home. The renewal start would be 2027. So they were already going to put it on the table to start their homework in 2025 and start the discussions for that. I feel we're lucky to have this much runway to really put do a lot of homework and figure out what all the possibilities are, find out what best practices have evolved, learn about things like, expiration dates of available landfills and things like that. When we go to the table negotiating with anybody, we have to figure out, or at least have an understanding of where they think they're going to bring it, what they intend to do with the waste that they generate. The recycling contract is another big part of that, just some sort of verification of what people say they're recycling is being recycled. The recycling component of our current contract costs considerably more than the solid waste component, and we know that a lot of things that they're taking away in the blue bin can't be recycled because there's no market for them. So just looking at other options, and then obviously putting out there as a desire to provide households with a composting opportunity, a dry solid waste, in a maybe a better detailed recycling opportunity moving forward. And boy, wouldn't it be great as a cost per household to at least maintain, if not reduce. That's a bit of an ambitious goal, but because I think costs just keep going up. But I think with the runway that we have, we'll have plenty of time to come up with some solutions. So DPW seem to be very engaged on it. It's already some ideas that they're going to make for improvements for our current transfer station, some good things we learned there, and some of the ideas that they have there. Just as we engage more with things like HelpSee and Mr. Fox composting up there, just even reformatting some of the things that they have to do up there to make the flow of vehicles better, to make those things more accessible. There was a little discussion, as we've talked about, we'll talk about a little bit further, about polystyrene collection and potential recycling, and maybe potentially a hub, just having that open mind of where things could sit and what kind of hard surfaces are required. We'll have the benefit, by the way, if you haven't been to the transfer station the past week or so, holy cow, it's fun seeing all the structure going up for the solar. It's really, I feel like it sprouted up overnight, it was great. So excited about that, but having a power source available there will be fantastic for future projects. So no, I thought, loved you guys' comments on it, but I thought it was just a really good kickoff meeting.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's definitely room for us leading up to 2025 to do research on how neighbouring towns are doing and what, just to get that baseline of which companies they may be using, what the contract is, what they're offering, just so that we get an idea of what can or is available and what is on the wish list of what we would like to see happen. and I think, as I mentioned before, I think the practices, the waste management contract was 2017, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
2017. Yeah.
I think since then, there's always best practice and is always evolving and is always changing in terms of what companies can do, and different ways in which we can definitely reduce waste to landfill. So I'm hoping that we will make roads and see a better service for the town.
Yeah, and the truth is that in the end, even within New Hampshire and surrounding states, we're running out of landfill space quickly. Certainly there's always the potential that more could be opened or areas expanded, but there's an ever-increasing population and ever-increasing waste. So it's going to be in our own best interest to get in front of this and see what we can do to reduce those things. So, and honestly, the composting component may end up being one of the biggest opportunities of all, as far as taking tonnage or serious volume out of what we're currently throwing away. So excited about that, and I think that's going to be may well be one of the bigger projects over a longer period of time that we work on. I like it because it's a real tangible project. I also like the fact that if we're successfully do good work and we could really reward the town with the taxpayers who are paying $1.5 million a year for having their waste removed with some better solutions. So at least come up with some recommendations for that. So any thoughts or comments on that?
Yeah, I had a question. During the last meeting, there was talks about a kind of cover building for recycling materials for the DPW, and I was wondering if that came up during your conversations or if it was strictly focused on what we're doing for right now.
Yeah, I don't think we didn't cover that specifically. I don't think
They mentioned it.
They mentioned it.
There was some conversation of what is required in terms
Gotcha.
of structure and so on, but we didn't really go into detail as
Yeah.
to the pricing or what.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I know they are looking at the way to change the traffic flow through the facility and also how things can be changed in terms of making it quicker for people to. What was it, the drive-through?
Yeah, it's up and over thing. Yeah,
A drive-through cardboard.
order a coffee, drop your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Gotcha.
You know, because I think one of the things that was mentioned was that because it's not sort of drive-through, people don't tend to bring their cardboard in to be recycled. So
Yeah, it definitely gets jammed up in there sometimes. So.
And there's an awful lot of backing into certain things, and little driveways you got to pull into to get stuff done. So
Yeah, exactly. And the current construction site definitely doesn't help. But,
no,
you know,
exactly.
Understood.
Yeah. No, I thought Mr. Cronin had a really sharp, bigger picture view of what needs to happen up there and some planning, which I was excited about. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
but I think probably not a conversation to be had here, but I'd be interested to see what's happening with the treatment pools which are empty at the
Are they?
aren't they empty? They're not being used, are they?
Yeah. They at the wastewater treatment, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
They're still being used?
Yes.
I thought they were decommissioned.
There was one that was decommissioned.
Okay.
But, so there, I think, I'm not good at this. I think I'm not super knowledgeable about this, is what I meant to say. I think there were 4,
Yeah.
and 1 was decommissioned.
Okay.
And 3 are still functional.
Oh, they're still functioning. I thought they were all
Yeah.
decommissioned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to kind of add a little bit more to the discussion about the site at the transfer station, Steve J. Perkins and I, prior to our meeting, we had been on site for the solar array pre-construction meeting, and then afterwards kind of hung out and talked about, the composting set, just the setup out there. And I think the plan moving forward is for this year's capital improvement program, Public Works will submit a funding request that will address some of the needs that are out there. So that could be a really great opportunity for this committee to weigh in and positively endorse that through the budget process. And then the plan is to kind of set that up for year 2026. Then we would submit the styrofoam recycling request, which is further down on the agenda. But there is I think a solid plan to address all of these needs in a more comprehensive way. It's sort of just been added on, and it's not really efficient for the user or for pickup and removal of the materials.
Yeah, in fact, I think even they spoke of needing to widen the entry. And putting on a hard surface for a lot of the space just to manage inflow and outflow, especially in inclement weather and winter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that we covered on the discussion, if we were getting to a point where we were successful in becoming a styrofoam recycling hub, that also would require a pad of some kind as well. So, but they seemed very open-minded and way down the road on thinking about these things, which was great. So happy to see that.
Yeah, especially with the monetary benefit to the town.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
We just figure out how to collect and make some money on some other stuff up there. It'd be great.
Exactly.
I am excited. Actually, I can figure out how to go take a field trip over to Lee. I was very excited to hear how successful Steve really liked their little recycling, or their whole transfer station up there. So I'm going to figure out what they've got going on over there.
So one of the things that we did talk about as a subcommittee was, in addition to just collecting information on the different communities and the contractors they use, actually maybe explore when their contracts expire and if there's a way for us to sort of,
Consolidate.
reduction by numbers or by volume, collaborate with them and maybe get on a similar cycle and then sell our desires with a provider.
Agreed. I was thinking about this on the drive-in tonight. I also think as we're building this sort of sheet and consolidating information about communities, I think I'd really be curious to see how many communities that are as large or larger than Exeter bring their own stuff to transfer station. I think it's easy to get set in your ways, and I think since I've lived here, we've always had curbside pickup, so that's what the expectation is, right? But it comes at a cost, and I was really surprised that Rye, for example, I did not know that Rye was bringing residents bring their own stuff to transfer station. And I think they're probably a little smaller than us, but not dramatically smaller than us.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to see just from a population and density perspective, what people around us find acceptable and manageable and things like that too. So.
Yeah.
And I did start, so we're going to have a Google sheet, and I did start populating it, at least with the size of the communities, the different communities in our region. And the other thing that I found interesting just from website searching, quite a few communities have a solid waste committee, like a subcommittee that focuses on that. And so, there could be an opportunity for us to sort of learn through their efforts. So
That's a good thing. I didn't realize that. That's super cool.
Yeah, I was surprised, it's great.
And it makes sense.
Yeah,
It's a big
it
budget
does.
item.
It is.
And it affects every household. So
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I think also down the line, I think not too down the line, but fairly, just to sort of do a survey of our residents to see what they would like to see happen,
Right.
or what they're willing to to either have more curbside, or again putting a monetary aspect to it in terms of if it lessens their taxes, would they take the stuff to the transfer station or
Right.
not, right? Or what would they like to be? What kind of service would they like to see for them? Considering all the different types of accommodation we have in this town.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. We have this balance, and I'd be curious to see if there's even a way to figure it out. We have a budget line item or two that go to paying the contract. We also have pay as you throw. But even if you don't buy one single blue bag, you're still paying through your taxation, and then the rest is pay to play. I'd be curious to see if there's a way to know. There's got to be a way to know how many. I mean, we must know how many blue bags that is annually, because there's a budget to buy those and sell those. At least at minimum, take an average and maybe a mean of what it could be per household. It'd be good to know. And then, if we were to survey residents, and we talked also about, with more information, just a public meeting, just so people could have full transparency, because I'm sure we don't think about it, right? It's just happening. You pay your tax bill, and it's just, I don't think people really know how much it actually costs. And the WAG from DPW, if it was not collected, if it was brought to transfer, would be about half. That's a lot of savings, if we were able to stomach that. And that's just an answer, but I think there's a lot of good work to do here. So,
but also, I mean, when you go to the transfer station, there is a bin for blue bags, and it's always full every time I go there.
Is there a bin for blue bags?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
There's a bin for blue bags.
Huh.
And it's full. I go there once a week, and it's on a Friday, and it's always
Interesting.
It's always full. So again, you've got people who are obviously doing that.
Yeah.
Are there some rural routes that aren't
Maybe,
getting
yeah.
I don't know.
picked up?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that is again something to know why someone may take them to the transfer station.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
So.
Anything else you want to cover off on solid waste? I'm excited to continue that discussion, and we'll try to get that on the agenda every meeting. Just any updates that we have.
Knowing that obviously Dan and his lovely bookstore sponsored one of the bins, that obviously. I mean, when does that cycle finish? It'd be great to get going to find another.
Oh, for the compost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the extra compost bin.
Yeah.
To get someone to sponsor it.
Sure.
And Public Works is anticipating including the additional bins
Okay.
in their budget request.
Okay.
So it'll be town funded.
Oh, okay.
Or taxpayer funded.
Yeah, and we never did get to the bottom of how the math has, that, those bins get full. We know how much tipping's happening up at transfer station with compost, yet it hasn't really affected the volume on paper that we're getting collected at curbside for solid waste. So I think there's some audit to be done there as well when we get to the brass tacks of what happens next. So you've got window dresser measuring volunteers down here, and this is such a great project, and I feel like we need to surface it again and figure out how to activate this.
Yeah. So I'll do a brief overview of what the program is, kind of high level. I know you all know, but just in case others are watching or tune in later. So Window Dressers is a nonprofit organization and so the Energy Committee is strongly committed to this. We are meeting very weekly right now to address some of the early planning efforts. We're starting, the early stage of volunteers is obtaining a team of measurers. And so these are individuals who go into homes as teams of 2 and do the window measuring. Our goal is 30 homes, and each home maybe has, say, 10 plus window inserts. So it's not a huge effort to cover, that number of homes, but it does take some additional volunteers. So I'm going to read a statement that the Energy Committee provided about the window measurer volunteers. But before I do, I just want to let everyone know there is a dedicated page on our website about the program that leads you to the window dresser site. On that site, it talks about when the community build will be. It's in January for us because this program goes on throughout the Northeast. And we wanted to have some kind of build-up time to be sure we were ready to pull it off.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you can always find more information, including rough estimates for window costs. Oh, the other key component about the window dressers is if you cannot afford to have window inserts, they cover it for you. So the price is covered. There is a fundraising component to this that we anticipate doing, but it's a great way to bring significant energy cost savings to residents throughout town. Okay, so this might be a little bit redundant. The Energy Committee has partnered with the nonprofit group Window Dressers to bring a window insert program to the town of Exeter. This program is volunteer-driven, which helps to keep costs low, but requires a team of volunteers to pull it off. The Energy Committee is looking to train a group of volunteers to help with window measuring. If you're interested in learning more, please contact Mark Lemos at MarkLemos01 MarkLemos01 You can also learn more about the program, including how to order window inserts by visiting the town's webpage and search for window inserts in the upper left-hand corner, right-hand corner search box.
Terrific. No, I think it's great. And so the plan is to have the execution of the program in January.
That's right.
But is that's the building time, or
That's the building
so
time.
the measurement stuff all has to happen well before that?
It does.
Okay.
We did do an initial press release through biweekly report that Exeter TV puts out, and already have 2 people signed up for inserts. So I think the beauty of that is we have a long period of time to spread it out. So it's not like you're going to be needing to spend, window measure volunteers need to spend, a week out there measuring. Mark's really committed to making sure he works within the volunteer schedules. So he's excited to get a team trained up and hitting the road running.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Note on that. By the way, just speaking of Exeter TV, I was thrilled to see the video of the siphon going through. That was the pipe going
Yeah.
through. That was great.
Yeah.
And it was, first of all, really fantastic job by Bob and team putting together it was great. It was incredible coverage, but also big time high fives down the street because I think everybody really wanted that to work. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely a collective cheer, I think, when we got out.
Do we have any questions on the window dressers program? Or, I mean, certainly, for measuring, myself and I'm sure one or two others on the committee can,
I can help.
step in and measure. Remember, folks, we want to measure twice and cut once. That's really important. So,
Yeah.
For this, I plan to announce this opportunity at a Monday morning meeting of our residential installation crew. So I might be able to get some pretty hands-on people
That's
to help out. And
people that are good with tape measures too?
people that are good with tape measures. Yeah, exactly. So I just made a note for myself, so I'll do that on Monday.
Oh, that'd be great.
Great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Our next item is other business. What other things did we want to bring up? And who's got something else they want to bring forward tonight?
I, during the last meeting, had said that I would be reaching out to my sustainability coordinator to possibly do a presentation for how Revision handles their waste. And obviously with our multitude of different waste streams, it's pretty interesting. So I reached out to him. He said that he is interested and that he would start to put together a bit of a PowerPoint and stuff like that. If you guys are interested in having that like just shown, and we could call him in or something like that, just to talk about different waste streams of a business.
Yeah, I think, and if we do our homework right, we can certainly package that up with. I don't even mind taking in nearly an entire meeting, other than critical of the business, to make a waste-oriented one. We could do a household waste one, and then we could do a commercial waste one.
Yep.
Evening, and chat about it, just so people, I just think people just don't know where stuff goes.
Yeah.
And it'd be good to learn where stuff goes, especially from a really conscientious company like Revision too. But look at this, all the stuff you have to handle to pull stuff off. So.
Yep, absolutely. From the styrofoam to the copper, and everything in between. It's pretty interesting, and including retired solar panels and stuff like that we have to somehow upcycle, recycle, that kind of stuff. So he said that he's interested and that he would start putting something together, and I'll continue to update you.
Yeah, I guess maybe just come back with the question of just we're super excited to do it and find out what kind of runway he needs. So if we said go, is that 2 months, 5 months, 6 months?
Yeah, I told him to get started on it. So we should have this already, Joel. So come on, man.
Yeah, hopefully he can use that in his daily role.
That's what I'm hoping, is that it's not a one-time PowerPoint for sure. The other thing is to help determine some KPIs to check on regularly and help put those out to the community. Willing to do so. Haven't started yet, but willing to work on that.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Wonderful. No, I'm excited for both those things. Fantastic. Other business?
Just about the styrofoam drive, whether we are going to come up with the date and execution of it, and just so that again we have a lead time, bearing in mind it's summer, that if we have a time for which we want to aim for, and then doing the trip up to Guildford.
Yes. So running the math out, if we continue with our every other month or bi-monthly meeting, that would put the next one at approximately August 6th or 13th or so. And then the next one would likely collide with the opportunity to do that if we were to do that in conjunction with the electronics, which I believe is usually in October, right?
I thought it was November, but I could be wrong.
Well, we should check on that, yeah. Because that would put us into October for the 2 meetings from now. So, maybe what we need to do is identify. Yeah, you might be right. I feel like
I thought it was October, but
it's got to be knowable. Hold on.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well, certainly Siri knows. Let's find out.
November 18th, 2023 was the last one.
That's actually good for us. That's great. So, what? And that's always coordinated through the high school. Is that right?
Yes.
The senior class
the
or
Eco Club.
Eco Club.
I think is what it said.
So
Very
maybe we should
environmental.
coordinate with them.
Yeah, and I say, you know, so the steps for us really are advertising with enough advance notice. And I think, you know, we could start that today to encourage people to start collecting, once we confirm that we can join up with the Eco Club. I realize now it's summer though, isn't it? So, and then identifying how are we going to secure a box truck? Do we have contacts that we think someone would
I'm sure we can
donate their time?
find someone who
And
can,
do we
who can have it.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think the timing is actually good because if the next meeting for us is in August, between now and then, we should come up with just a plan of the things we need to execute on. And obviously, one of those things would be getting in touch with whomever the teacher coordinator is over at the high school for the Eco Club, and they would just be coming into session, maybe showing up at school a week or so after that, lining up a truck, making sure we can collect. And that would still give us yet one more bi-monthly session to work on our communication plan to make sure that we are out there and talking about it, so. Yeah, but I'm pretty confident. I'm certainly confident we can twist an arm in town to get a truck or
Okay.
two.
Okay.
And worst case is, we can rent one, but
Yeah.
I would like to have someone donate one, so.
Yeah, in kind service.
Yeah.
So the coordinator, Ryan, you know him well, is John Brawl.
John Brock, absolutely.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend.
I'd be happy to reach out to him.
Oh, great.
I think I did, and I'm not sure that I heard back, so I'll try that again.
Okay.
Willing to
more
collaborate on
excitement.
that too. If
What?
you willing to reach out to him too if you
Great.
want.
Is that the high school?
Yeah.
Yeah,
John's a great guy, super passionate.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
The
just
one.
just to have that date, then we can start looking at with Nina's expertise on posters or whatever to get us.
Just get a work back plan, go with
Yeah.
that, a communication plan,
Get,
for sure.
at least get a leaflet out, or some graphic on the website and
You know-
socials.
I'll reach out to one of our neighbors here in town, also Bridge Brothers Movers. You know who's got big trucks?
They've got,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bridge Brothers Movers. Good folks, by the
Yeah.
way.
Those
yeah,
guys are great.
Totally.
So that'd be one of the first people I'll reach out to.
Is the idea to have a one-day collection?
Ideally,
For-
so that if you're coming downtown to the bandstand with your electronics.
Electronics
and
that will be
Right,
there
right, and
to
then you
collect
could have-
the styrofoam.
Because you just replaced your
Right.
TV, and they got all the styrofoam, when you throw away the old TV, I'll have your styrofoam and your TV.
Right, so you can have a bigger TV.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bigger styrofoam.
It just makes sense. you know?
Bigger is better.
Hand in glove, absolutely.
And it'd be good to have Exeter TV do a little clip of it going to Guildford and what happens in Guildford.
Absolutely, just to see
that'd
what
be-
that's all about.
that we
yeah.
do that audit trail of
Absolutely.
from collecting it to
To a little spirally
Yeah.
condensed chunk.
Uh-huh.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to see the money change hands too.
yeah.
The idea is also, obviously, to, the educational component of this.
To put a fact in.
Big is the big, because who, I didn't realize that you could recycle styrofoam
No.
with this, right?
Yeah. Great.
So I think of that every day now, that when I throw it out.
Yeah.
Not that I get big TVs often, but.
No, but it works. Even the simplest little things, you're
Yeah,
stuck with this
right,
stuff. Absolutely.
Right.
No,
And the
agreed.
beauty of having it in November, that's kind of budget season, and so this will be on the CIP for 2026. So, we can use that for sort of the promotion, the buildup, and the discussion, and public awareness. I think, I feel like we teed this up really well.
Yeah, agreed. That's a good.
And I'm sure there's loads of facts around as to how much styrofoam per person is thrown away.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be alarming.
Do a little research.
And a message out to
Yeah.
If there is no other other business, I want to just take this opportunity just to, I realized last night in town we had a relatively fraught select board meeting with the rug property and Save Fort Rock issue, the rug family pulling the opportunity off the table. And, I've only know what I've read in Seacoast Online, reporting on last night's meeting and being part of Save Fort Rock and things like that. I would just say that, from my personal perspective and hopefully maybe the perspective of my colleagues here, that taking the highest road possible and, realizing what a benefit getting to this recreational space, what a good benefit that would be for all residents in this town and the surrounding area. And hopefully, I only hope that cooler heads prevail and there's an opportunity back to the table, and that, the people that are working in good faith from the town of Exeter understand just the value this brings to everybody here, especially in the shadow of all the development that's going on, multifamily and otherwise in town. We've really put the red carpet out for development, and we need to balance that. We'd love to see that balanced with open space for recreation. So it's certainly disappointing to see where we ended up with this past week and last night, but hopefully there's a path forward where it can work out. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well said.
if we have no other business, I would take a motion to adjourn. No one wants to make a motion to adjourn? We'll stay here all night. Okay.
Second.
All in favor of adjournment?
Yes.
Aye.
Thank
We're
you.
adjourned at 7:39 p.m. On June 11th.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.